When Samsung released the Tab S9 FE and FE Plus, they made things really interesting, but at the same time, choosing which tablet to get might be more confusing, so let's break it down. To make things a little bit easier, let's split these tablets up into two categories, the Fan Edition models and the Flagship models. And this makes sense because essentially the features are the same for every tablet in each category with a few exceptions, and here's a quick look at the starting prices. So starting out with the displays, both categories have an aspect ratio of 16:10, which makes them great for watching content, but in terms of specs, that's pretty much where the similarities end. The FE models have IPS LCD displays, which offer a slower 90Hz adaptive refresh rate with a good resolution and pixel density. All three flagship models have dynamic AMOLED 2X displays, which offer a faster 120Hz adaptive refresh rate, a higher resolution when comparing the same display sizes, so you can see more content without having to scroll, and we're also getting a higher pixel density when comparing the same display sizes, which gives us a sharper image. Now, in terms of image quality, the FE displays are actually quite good, and I'm super happy with the image quality for watching video and for playing games. I also love that we're getting 90Hz versus the 60Hz we got on the Tab S7 FE, which was the last Fan Edition model. But there's no question that the dynamic AMOLED display on the flagship models is the better display. Colors seem to just pop right off the screen. We're getting outstanding blacks, better contrast, and the UI animations look smoother. Now, overall, the advantage in terms of image quality clearly goes to the flagship models, but keep in mind the cost because the flagship displays are not twice as good as the Fan Edition ones. Now, all five tablets have a similar design with a full aluminum frame and back, but when comparing the tablets of the same size, the flagship models are thinner. Now, I love that Samsung was able to bring IP68 rating down to the FE version. This gives all the tablets protection from water and dust. Now, this is really nice if you take your tablet with you when you travel or if you take it to school with you every day, but it's also a super nice feature when you're using it around the house and you have a dog with a somewhat aggressive tail. Now, all five tablets offer face recognition for biometric authentication and a more secure fingerprint sensor. Now, with the flagship models, we're getting an under-display sensor, and with the FE models, it's integrated into the power button. Now, both sensors have worked really great for me, and they're super responsive and accurate, but I prefer the under-display version because it's more natural to how I hold the tablet. All five tablets also have a micro SD card slot, so you can upgrade the internal storage by up to 1 terabyte, and you can use that storage for photos, for videos, for files, and for most apps. Now, continuing to look around the edges, we're getting 4 AKG tuned speakers on the flagship models versus 2 on the FE. And the flagship models absolutely have a more full sound. The audio seems warmer, it has more presence to it, which actually makes them a better choice if you want to use the speakers on your tablet. Now, another factor to consider is the ability to expand the functionality of each tablet by adding a keyboard case and a stylus. Now, since the form factor of the flagship and the FE models is so similar, the Tab S9 and FE are compatible with the same two versions of the book cover keyboards from Samsung. And the same is true for the FE Plus and the Tab S9 Plus. And then, of course, you can always use an external Bluetooth keyboard with all of these tablets. All five tablets also come with a free S Pen, which can be stored on the side or on the back of the tablet, but only the flagship models come with a Bluetooth-enabled S Pen, which offers some wireless functionality for things like camera control and media playback. Now, in terms of the actual writing experience, it's virtually identical and no charge is required in order to write and draw. It's only needed for the Bluetooth functionality with the flagship models. Now, one of the areas where Samsung had to create some differentiation is with processing power, and there are several critical implications here. So the flagship models come with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 chip, and the FE models come with the Exynos 1380. So let's quickly look at the single and multi-core performance. And here we can see that the Snapdragon chip definitely pulls ahead. We also see it score considerably higher in GPU performance. Now, of course, these are just benchmark scores, so what kind of impact is this going to have during typical real-life use? Well, if you're just surfing the web, watching video, or going on social media, you're definitely going to be able to do that with any of these tablets, but the flagship models definitely feel snappier and more responsive. And even if you're just navigating around the UI and opening and closing apps, you're going to notice the difference. And I would expect the flagship models to continue and perform better for longer because of the additional headroom in terms of performance. Now, of course, for more demanding things like photo and video editing, the flagship models are a more capable option, but always keep in mind what you actually plan on doing because you are paying quite a bit more. Now, another area where I definitely noticed a meaningful difference is with gaming. I play a lot of my tablets, and I was really curious to see how these processors would match up. So I was able to play my usual games like PUBG, Genshin Impact, Asphalt, and then of course some less demanding games. But there was a very obvious difference in both processing power and GPU performance, which did have an impact on my overall experience with more resource-intensive games. Now, using PUBG as an example, gameplay was smoother and more responsive on the flagship models, and I could play with graphics set to smooth and frame rates set to 90 FPS. I could also set graphics anywhere from balanced to HDR and frame rate set to extreme, or Ultra HD for graphics and Ultra for frame rate. With the FE models, I was limited to high frame rate, whether graphics were set to smooth, balanced, or HD, and that was as good as it got, so I definitely didn't get to use the 90 FPS. Now, playing Genshin Impact, I had a very similar experience where it's playable on all 5 tablets, but it performed better on the flagship models, again because of the more capable processor and the additional RAM, which I'll discuss in a minute. So if gaming is a priority for you now, then looking ahead, we know that game developers are always going to push the CPU and GPU, and games are going to evolve and start to demand more and more resources. When I look to keep a device for at least 4 to 5 years or even longer, I'm always going to opt for the tablet that has better CPU and GPU performance than what I need right now, and that way it will continue to perform better in the future. Now, if you want to stream and play Xbox games with the Xbox Game Pass app, you can pair an Xbox controller with all 5 tablets and then have extremely smooth gameplay as long as you have a reliable internet connection. In terms of storage, the Tab S9 FE, the Tab S9, and the Tab S9 FE Plus start out with 128 gigabytes, then the Tab S9 Plus and the Tab S9 Ultra start out with 256. So that's something that you want to keep in mind if you play a lot of games and you need more storage. Now, looking at the camera systems, we're getting different setups and features depending on which model and category you go with, but in terms of the front-facing camera, all 3 flagships have the same setup, and then the 2 FE models have the same setup, and here's a quick sample. This is a camera and microphone test of the Tab S9 and the Tab S9 FE. This should give you a pretty good idea of the type of image quality that you're going to get and the type of audio quality that you should expect for video calls. Here's a camera and microphone test of the Tab S9 Plus and the Tab S9 FE Plus. This should give you a pretty good idea of the type of image quality that you're going to get and the type of audio quality that you should expect. Now, the Tab S9 Plus looks a little overexposed for me. All I did was press record. I didn't change any of the settings. The color is also definitely different on the FE Plus. It seems like a much warmer image and probably a better exposure, which is really interesting. Now, all 5 tablets run the latest Android and One UI, so you're getting all of the latest features like 3 tiled apps, pop-up windows, and then of course Dex, which is awesome. So essentially it reboots the tablet and gives you an operating system that's very similar to a desktop OS. You're getting a taskbar, a desktop with icons, multiple windows, you can snap windows, and you can use a keyboard case to transform your tablet into more of a laptop replacement. Now, if you use Dex, you can connect a keyboard and mouse to all 5 tablets. But one massive difference is that you can only connect an external display and run a dual display setup with the flagship models. The FE models don't have this ability. You can, however, use each of the 5 tablets as an additional display for your laptop or desktop with Samsung's second screen, and this is a super handy feature for me both in the office and when I travel. Now, as far as OS and security updates, Samsung promised 4 years of OS updates and 5 years of security updates, which is nice. And again, keep in mind the difference in performance if you plan on keeping your tablet for a while. Now, in terms of battery life, we're getting larger battery sizes as we go up in tablet size. And you can check out this video if you want to see a detailed battery drain test. Now, all 5 tablets offer 45 watts super fast charging, but none of them ship with a charging adapter. So that's something you'll need to get separately. Now, when we look at the configuration options, it's important that we look both at the RAM and storage options in the base previous and upgraded models. And remember that while only the Tab S9 Ultra is offered with 1 terabyte, you can expand the internal storage on all 5 tablets with a micro SD card. And there's no question that the flagship models are more capable. They have a better display, a much more powerful chip with better CPU and GPU performance, better speakers, a better camera system, and a more capable S Pen. But if you're on a budget and you don't need the best, the FE models are an outstanding value and you're still getting a very good display, IP68 rating, a free S Pen, and a lot of the same features for significantly less money. Now you should check out the battery drain test. You know what I always say? Buy it nice or buy it twice. Good luck and see you soon.